no matter whether it's a sound healing or it's coaching or just friends, my spouse. Whenever you're with me, I've really trained myself to see the beauty in someone. Because everything I teach my clients, I live it. And that doesn't mean I don't mess up, but I want to live everything I teach and to walk into that. Because sometimes you can get disappointed by people or they present one way and they come across really nice, but you really get the veil gets pulled behind the curtain gets pulled, and then you see what you're really working with. And I know I've been disappointed by that several times. So I told myself many, many years ago when I started my healing journey that because I want to make a difference in a beautiful way, that everything I teach, I want to be the one practicing that as well.
Today, I have the lovely Shenita Sanders with us. She's an incredible human being. She has incredible sound healing abilities, gifts. She is a future focused coach and is going to share with us some gems about self love. So, welcome.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for being here with you.
Oh, thank you for being here with us. How do you feel about the idea or the practice of self love? Is it something that has been important in your life?
I wouldn't say it's not only important, I would say it's a matter of survival.
Mm.
And just over the years, giving myself permission to make that a part of my daily practice. Growing up, it was always, you do for other people. You put other people's needs at the forefront. Mostly it was explicitly said before your own. And there is a value to that. But I went too far and I never in the past put myself in the forefront. So of course, then you just start dealing with so many things and you wonder how did I get here in this dark place? And so through therapy and through coaching, I learned the importance of making sure I'm at the forefront.
Mm. I love that. And when I see you, I feel that you embody and radiate joy and love for yourself. And I'm happy to be here kind of vibe. I'm really proud of you for doing all the things you did. And it sounds like this was a very radical shift from how you used to approach putting others first to now I can see that you're putting yourself at the forefront and really valuing yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that because I do work hard and I it was a battle to get to this point. And not that
Mm.
person or I was a bad person, but trying to override years of conditioning and socialization, it takes
Hmm.
a lot of practice. And so with me, I found that not only getting it into your mind space, but making the travel downward to get it into your mind and heart space together. For me, when that happened, that is what crystallized the lesson to allow me to start thriving in life.
Mm, that's really good. I want to pause on two things for people to take in this mind connection and then integrating it and embodying it with your heart. That is very helpful. And also you bringing out that it might not be a fast change once you decide mentally, I'm going to do this, because there is years for most of us of social conditioning, external voices, just the habits we've built of doing it that way. And so if it takes you some time, that's typically how it works. It doesn't happen overnight. And yet one day you'll wake up and look around and think, oh, here I am. I actually doing a pretty good job today. So I people are probably going to be at different places with how they are centering themselves who are listening to this, and just knowing that Shanita had a time where she probably wouldn't have come on a platform like this and told everybody how much self love she was doing. Same for me. I might have been okay with it, but it wasn't as much of an essential outlook and way of living that it is now. I'm glad that you're bringing that up, because even if we want change to happen quickly, there's oftentimes a lag between when we make a decision and when that actually is a reality for our day-to-day lives.
Absolutely. First of all, it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
My clients all the time be easy with yourself, be compassionate with yourself. Those are two critical tools you'll need in order to get from where you are today to where you ultimately would want to be. Because many of us come with negative self talk.
Mm.
And it's hard enough trying to override that and to put in new things to hear. Like, I am worthy, I am enough, and I am okay. There's nothing wrong with me. Now, when I tell people to say that, there's nothing wrong with me, that's a big one. They have to take bite sized portions of that. And it's like at the end of the coaching journey, they realized there really wasn't anything wrong with me. It really was just a matter of a mental and message shift.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the practice. And
Mm-hmm.
the coaching journey so much because we get to work together and it's like I keep people on task. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. All is well with you. And if you continue to speak softly to yourself, lovingly to yourself, and most importantly, compassionately to yourself, you're going to go far beyond what we signed up for to help you with.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
the compassion that heals you the most. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, compassion is the cornerstone of healing.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I love that. And I love also how you're sharing how the coaching relationship and journey can really help people because when for a lot of my life I've done like I'll read a book and then I'll try and do some things on my own and I am very self-motivated. But if I'm with a group or with a one-to-one person who is mentoring me or coaching me, and I'm sure you find this for your clients as well, or when I'm working with clients, that person who's checking in, who knows where you want to get to emotionally or with your life, were you and I were a reminder and the person who brings them back, like you said, to compassion, to there's nothing wrong with you. So that if you have 2 weeks where your life goes haywire, then when they meet with you again, they think, okay, life went haywire, but I'm still having compassion for myself. I'm still thinking that nothing's wrong with me. And you really help guide them through this process of integrating that mindset and the lifestyle.
Well, it's so cool because it's like when you were saying just a moment ago, when things go haywire, I gently remind them, hey, this is serving a purpose for you.
Mm,
These are not problems, these are opportunities.
mm,
Uncomfortable opportunities to show you where the healing is best needed. So even that isn't a slight mind shift, but it's a powerful one nonetheless because it takes you out of victimhood.
mm-hmm,
These bad things are happening to me. And when you can say to yourself, they're happening for my good.
mm,
And when you're saying they're happening for my good, you have more motivation to work on them, and to stick with it.
mm-hmm.
You can see the improvement. You can feel the improvement. Just saying that, the energy shifts within. And that alone just feels better.
That does feel really good. Do you have, I can think of a few times in my life when I made this shift. Do you have any stories that you can tell about how you applied that shift and approach to a certain circumstance in your life that you were going through?
Absolutely. I can tell you one that I had recently.
Oh, yeah, tell us.
So let's just say everyone had a shift during the pandemic, correct? Whether it was one they wanted or needed or thought was beneficial. So I left the comfort of a secure job and said, I want to open a spiritual based business doing sound therapy and also coaching. Because I knew for years that this is where my gifts were being activated for such a time as this. So, you go out, you get your business cards, you get your website and all that, and boom, you say, my door's open. But that process of opening a business, it introduces you to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it can be scary, sometimes it can just be darn near frightening. But then there are other moments where it's like, okay, this came up because this is teaching me a skill that as a businesswoman, I need to know. Like the spiritual stuff, I feel like I've got a great grasp on that. But the business, Shanita, she needs some help. And it's
Mm-hmm.
to need help. And that just teaches, that's a life lesson. That when you encounter something that you don't know which way to turn, are you going to reach out and get the guidance that you need or you deserve or that you are worthy of? Or are you going to stay stuck and allow ego to just trap you? Maybe I should have known better. So anytime you use that word should, you're going down a dark road.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of saying I should know this or whatever, you can say this is an opportunity for me to learn another skill that's going to serve my highest good. And that energy, just shifting that from problem to opportunity, makes such a tremendous difference.
Mm. That is so good. That really does make a difference. And I also enjoy how I can see the this idea of there's nothing wrong with me if you're trying to do something new, whether it's business or what else. Maybe people are dating again, or maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
learning how to garden or building a home or renovating. If they feel that there's something wrong with them, they may be less likely to ask for help or less likely to be open to the growing opportunities. And yet if you put that aside and say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow or to learn more about myself or to receive help from others, it opens up that experience. And I also like how you said it doesn't have to be then so challenging or difficult because you're letting yourself experience new things. And yes, like the actual experience might not always be comfortable, but either the help you're getting or the approach you're having to it makes the whole experience more delightful. And, one day we'll probably look back and be like, that was such a crazy time. Can you believe that?
Well, it's just so bizarre, Rachel, that we have these sayings, fake it till you make it.
Mm,
On one hand, we'll say, I want to try, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, I want to try bowling.
mm-hmm,
And then you get everything you need, all your equipment for bowling, and then you get disappointed because you didn't bowl a 300.
mm-hmm,
You really get down on yourself and say, maybe bowling isn't for me.
mm-hmm,
Saying, here's the grace I need. And this is a journey, this is a new journey that
mm-hmm,
I discover. Every time I pick up that bowling ball and go into the bowling lane, and the learning in the in between time. Many of us do not give ourselves the grace for that learning. And so when you're picking up a new habit, a new skill, you find yourself in a new environment, it's like you must give yourself grace. And that's why I preach compassion from the time I meet with someone till the time we don't speak anymore.
mm-hmm,
Compassion, compassion.
mm,
Greatest tool when I worked as a therapist, it was my greatest tool, and as a coach now, it's my greatest tool. And as a human being for myself, it's my greatest tool.
mm-hmm. I agree. Compassion is so good. And I know that when I'm doing something new, whether it's bowling, which I'm just okay at, or something else, the compassion is what sustains me through the growing period where I'm falling into the lane or everything's going in the gutter of the bowling alley. I'm thinking about a couple years back, I decided to learn the violin. And in my second lesson with the teacher, they said to me, so about a year from now, you'll be able to play a song. And I was just thinking, I have to work a whole year at this before I can do
Right.
anything that sounds good. And whereas if I was a child, I don't know, I took piano. I don't know, maybe piano is a shorter time to learn how to play a song. I think maybe it is, but I had a little bit more willingness to have a longer growing period, longer knowledge building practice time. And for me, I decided, you know what? Playing violin doesn't mean enough to me right now to prioritize 20 minutes a day for a year. I'm going to shift my attention somewhere else. But I had the compassion. I think it takes the compassion to go through whatever length of time the learning period is, and also to say, you know what, sometimes it's not for me, this thing that I thought I wanted, that I tried out. Maybe in 5 years I'll want to play the violin again. But I didn't let myself have negative self-talk about, well, you started this thing, but you didn't finish it. So you're a bad girl.
Right. And that's important because that
Mm-hmm.
voice will creep in there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, do you use the sound bowls when you're in a coaching session, or does that ever come up as like a supplementary thing when you're working one-on-one with someone, or is that a separate modality that you use?
So, absolutely. So, everything is client driven.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much in the mode of what does the client need? And we build such a good relationship with one another that they know me, they know that I am all about sound therapy. And if they say, okay, I know we're supposed to talk today, but I'm really having trouble getting my words together, or I don't know what we could talk about. And I'll just gently ask, would you like to, go to the bowls for some inspiration or the drums? And I also do mindfulness tarot with them.
Mm.
So I ask them, does that work for you? And then I do dream interpretation. So I ask them which one of these really resonate. And typically with the sound therapy, they can just relax. And I'll play maybe 5 minutes of whatever instrument. And it's amazing, the insights that they're able to get in just 5 minutes. And that's a very powerful way that we can connect to sound therapy and they can get some more things moving and we can process
Mm.
that together.
I love that. I can feel too the part of me that's more of what I would call the achiever. I could see that if you have a client who that's how they're used to being, and they're thinking, I want to get a lot out of this, but there's a lot going on. So they come in with all of the frenzy or the ideas or the expectations. And I love that working with the bowls, it can cause this calm and the settling. So whatever's the most important thing to come out that day, it helps them reconnect to that sense of peace and calm so that they can bring out, okay, here's what I want to share after I'm settled.
Absolutely. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that I really appreciate about, studying Christianity
Mm-hmm.
was I think the beauty that I saw in Jesus was wherever he was able to reflect beauty back to you.
Mm.
No matter what your actions were presenting, no matter what your mouth was sharing, he was able to take all that, transmute it, and put it back to you in such a beautiful and elegant way to where you saw yourself in a different framework. It was a very pleasing and pleasant framework. And that's what I love doing for clients, no matter whether it's a sound healing or, it's coaching or just friends, my spouse. Whenever you're with me, I've really trained myself to see the beauty in someone. Because everything I teach my clients, I live it. And that doesn't mean I don't mess up, but I want to live everything I teach and to walk into that. Because sometimes you can get disappointed by people where they present one way and they come across really nice, but you really get the veil gets pulled behind the curtain gets pulled, and then you see what you're really working with. And I know I've been disappointed by that several times. So I told myself many, many years ago when I started my healing journey that because I want to make a difference in a beautiful way, that everything I teach, I want to be the one practicing that as well.
That's beautiful. And I know I'm anticipating that people watching can feel that about you. And I can also second that because you have a groundedness about you and that compassion, as you said, that really allows for people to feel relaxed about you. And there's not a layer of judgment. And I mean, I don't know, any one of us can have judgmental thoughts about ourselves or about other people, but if you've really worked on loving and compassion with yourself and your intention is I'm seeing the beauty in others, it really allows everyone around you to blossom because you're coming into that relationship looking for the best in them. It reminds me when I was a teacher, that was the attitude I came about it because every person has so much potential, and the media would like us to believe that we should all be younger, faster, more clean shaven in every part of our body and smelling this way and buying this thing and whatever. It feeds the insecurities. And some of the social media also can let us go down these negative thought paths that allow us to not feel so good about ourselves. And so I love that you have this practice with both intentionally with your clients and everyone you meet of bringing that compassion, bringing that I see the beauty in you and I'm looking for the best in you to all your interactions with people, because that right there, even if no one ever does anything else, that right there is such a gift to give someone.
I think in our own way, we're all searching. Most of the people I've encountered in my lifetime, there are three big questions we all ask. And that is, do you see me? Do you hear me? And does what I say matter? Just knowing that when you can feel that in a positive way for someone, it's so beautiful in the way it unfolds, honestly, Rachel, because it's everybody wants to know that there is something beautiful within them, And like you said, I think our society and societal norms and expectations kind of chip away at that. And then when a stranger can see it, spouse can see it, and family and friends can see the beauty in you, it makes you want to give more from a beautiful and beautiful place. And it's like if you woke up in the morning and you decided that that person right there with crusty eyes and bed breath, if you woke up that morning and said, I genuinely love and respect me, that cascades out to everything you do in such a beautiful and incredible way. And it's just, I have that feeling. And I will spend the rest of my days helping people get to that place.
That's so beautiful. Well, I definitely am running out of questions to ask you because I just feel that I just want to sit here smiling in your presence. But I want to invite you in case you want to share something beyond that is the thing that you like to share beyond what you've already shared, because it's already so amazing and good.
Let's see. So I think many of the people that you and I encounter, there has been an inner calling. Something that they would like to do differently or a person they would like to be differently. And there's that initial sign of hope that says, it's possible for me, hence the reason I'm reaching out to you or I. And so when they come, I love to congratulate them on that and just milk that for a lot, because it takes a lot of courage and strength to reach out to someone and say, hey, can you help me with? And I think that's a lost art, is to ask for help. It's a simple act, but a lot of energy goes into doing that. So I really love to celebrate people when that happens. And so when someone does come and they say, okay, can you help me with? I'm like, absolutely. Now, unfortunately, I can see the end of it. and I know it's going to be brilliant and amazing. And I can hear the end conversation we'll have. I wish I would have done this years ago. But it's that in between that feels uncertain or maybe scary. But that's why I love doing the coaching, is because I'm your guide. You tell me what your end goal is, and I can say, oh, you can totally do that. And here's why. Because building a rapport with someone, I get to hear all the things that they say about themselves, the strengths. And sometimes it's veiled in not so nice talk, but I'm trained to hear the strengths nonetheless. And when I say, did you know that you do this, 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 and this? And they're like, no, I don't. And I was like,
Mhm.
you told me you did this, 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 and this. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So it's like, as much as they feel like I help them, they are helping to heal me. So we're all healing each other. We're all, like Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home.
Mhm.
It's just a powerful connection to be able to help somebody go from lack to abundance, from stress to clarity, and I mean from doubt to clarity, and all because you reached out and you said, I know there's something better for me. I know I can do better, and now I want that for myself.
Hmm. I love that. And I agree that this asking for help is a lost art. And let's bring it to be not so lost anymore, because as you said, I'm glad you congratulate people on that and encourage them. I'm so excited to tell you about the upcoming book, Talk to the Trees, written by myself, Rachel Strivelli, psychic creative. Talk to the Trees is a short book that's somewhat practical, somewhat metaphysical, totally amazing, very spiritual. It's about connecting to the wisdom of the trees, actually literally talking to them, metaphorically talking to them, learning from the wisdom of these elder beings related to what can we gain from them in terms of resilience, how to get through hard times, how to approach the times that we're in. You can buy it at the places linked below. I would love it if you check it out, share it with a friend, buy it for a friend, and spread the word. And one thing that I have seen happen in my life prior is the times in which I asked for help in a community way. So I used to be in this one book club and I was going through a difficult time in my life. I just had a miscarriage. So I told that book club, I said, here's how you can help me. Here's what will be helpful. And here's what I know is not helpful. And this is how I would like to receive the help. And it was very, even though I knew what I needed and wanted, it felt uncomfortable to tell this group of 12-ish women, here's what I need. And yet, over the course of the next 2 months, multiple people from that group said, when I saw you ask for help, it made me think about asking for help in my own life in this other area. And so I'm always reminded that even clients that come to you or come to me, we think we're only benefiting ourselves when we ask for help, or it feels initially that it's just helping us, but that ripple effect of other people seeing you changing your life, asking for help, admitting that it's not all for us to do all the things. It's not for us to shoulder all the burdens. That inspires others. And I love that as you said, it's helping you as well. So we're all in this beautiful growing experience, because the more we normalize asking for help, walking each other home, doing these types of activities, because most of us aren't all going through the same big life events at the same time, maybe with the exception of the pandemic when we all were going through that at the same time. But even so, different people were already at different emotional states when it began and through the various processes. So when we're asking for help, we can connect to someone like you who has more guidance or who has walked through some of these experiences, and it helps carry you through that in between period so that you can come out on the other side of it and see the benefit of, I had this calling. I asked for help. I asked for guidance to bring forth this calling that I felt within. And now here's how it's going. Look at all this good stuff. So you helping people through that process and honoring all the steps of it. As you said, even just the first step of asking for help is so incredible.
I think we have an end goal, or a result we want to achieve, and we forget the little victories in between. And just the simple acknowledgement of those victories, and I mean celebrating those acknowledgments, really continue to propel us forward and give us the motivation that we need to continue on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
The road is not always as easy as we would love it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, okay, I woke up this morning. Considering the state that I'm in, this is a major victory. So when clients are in that space, I tell them, celebrate the hell out of I just woke up this morning. And I'm so glad you woke up. And if that's the only thing you can have gratitude for, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Something. So it's about reworking a lot of expectations because I think we want these grand results. And
Mm-hmm.
the grand result is I woke up this morning, and that's okay. And I think that's where community, for me, plays a big part because we're not community based here, although I do feel the energies are going back toward community, which is wonderful. So the villages and the tribes and the community really was our healing.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get back to that modality, as we listen to and embrace the wisdom of our elders that in our society we have discarded, that's a lot of lived experience and wisdom that we just did not tap into. And so now what I do, I love bringing and harnessing the power of community and tapping into the energy of the elders because they have, as we say, been there, done that. And if they can help guide me and keep me from avoiding a pitfall, help me to avoid a pitfall, I'm all for that. There are some things you have to walk this road and you have to learn on your own. There are so many things that we don't. And so for me, that's why I work so hard to establish what I call my compassionate community. Because especially as women and as women that are in the healing arts, I mean, oh my gosh, just the power that comes with that is unfathomable. And then more importantly, making sure that as women that are offering these services, we say, look, I know I need healing. I need help. And not getting into that trap of, oh, I can't ask for help. That's kind of like the dark side nobody really wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So with their loud color shirt on going, girl, you better ask for help because life's going to kick your tail if you don't accept it. That doesn't diminish your value. It doesn't diminish your power. It amplifies all of that and then some.
Mm-hmm.
Not a problem. It's an opportunity.
Mm.
Opportunity for your soul to evolve. It's for your greatest and highest good. And so I think when I was in graduate school, I would hear a lot of practicing counselors, and some students they would say, "Oh, I would never go to a therapist." I'm like, dude, you're spending all your student loan money and time learning how to be a counselor, but you won't go to one. Oh, so you're not buying what you're selling. So I knew then. I said, you're not going to be as effective.
Mm-hmm.
You're not willing to sit at a table to get help, but you want to advocate somebody else does it, I call that person an unbalanced healer.
Mm-hmm.
They're not they're bad. It's just unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're taught to give, but we're not taught to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Ego was allowing them to feel like, well, I should not ever have to need help. And that's when you start hearing that word should, you're going down a dark road.
Mm-hmm.
So I am proud to say, been in therapy, enjoyed it, loved it. I even hired coaches, loved it. It's like I need me. I need to work on me. I am a work in progress until I draw my last breath
Mm-hmm.
because I want to evolve. I want my soul and my spirit to evolve as high as it can. Like I'm soaring, and if I can go higher, I want to go higher.
Mm-hmm.
My mission, my life mission says I want to go higher because I want to be able to reach back and help and gather as many people. There's a saying that I live by that Harriet Tubman is famous for. She
Mm.
would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves.
Mm. Wow.
Like, I'm here, I'm waiting, and I know in my heart of hearts, that I can be of service to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
I'm waiting here just for you. And it's going to be such a beautiful thing when you say, will you be my guide? Can you help guide me through this? And when you pick up all those beautiful lessons and insights, it's just, I wish I could allow you to see the transformation that I get to see.
Well, even our short time together is transformational. And I didn't know that Harriet Tubman quote. And she's a person who every time I look at what she's done, I almost can't conceive of what magnitude she did and her courageousness to again and again and again help others, help free more people. And so I love one of the things that I feel, I'm trying to think of how to put this. It's as you were talking before about connecting to our elders and the wisdom there, and I see that you draw on the strength of all of these great women and other elders who even if they're no longer living, you're tapping into that wisdom and carrying that strength and that vision today, creating dreams that they may not have even conceived of being possible. And your ability and willingness to also acknowledge as you go throughout this, I'm not some perfect, high on a pedestal person. You're doing the work too. And I agree. For years I didn't know about the coaching field, but I went to so many counselors, and I never think, oh, all the money I spent. Instead, I think those were the best things that ever I did for myself that kept me growing and improving. And just this year, one counselor that I have taught me something about myself that almost changed my whole worldview of my entire life. And it's such a gift. And I keep on thinking about, wow, she found a way to describe something that's such a core part of who I am that I hadn't seen it that way. And I would have paid her 5 times for that one visit if I would have known maybe 10 times the impact I tell people about her, because it was so transformative. And so, like you say, going in, you don't always know. Well, none of us know what's going to happen, but the things that we're opened up to and a thing that a coach can guide us through can make your life become so spectacular and really let you embody. And even if all you're embodying, as you said, is I woke up today and that was what I did and that was good enough, being compassionate wherever we are with ourselves is such a beautiful way to live, to love ourselves, to honor ourselves.
One of the things that I heard in your story, you said she shared something with me that just changed my whole worldview, right? But even with that, Rachel, so what I'll add to that is you were open to
Mm.
receiving it.
Oh yes, definitely.
So even you had a beautiful part to play in that,
Yes, I always go in with the I'm ready for it.
right?
So what do you got?
And see, that's a beautiful spirit to have because even when you say, I'll go in, what do you got? You don't always know,
Mm-hmm.
sense of certainty. So that's brave in and of itself that you put yourself in a spirit of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I like to phrase it. And you're going in with the mindset of, I know I'm going to find something good, you know? So that is how I've been training my brain. That's how I like to live now. And so it's produced just amazing results for me. That doesn't mean I don't get scared or uncertain. It just means I won't allow myself to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So wonderful.
So even you had a part to play in the big worldview shakeup, right?
Mm.
Because
Yes, I
your soul
agree.
and your heart was open. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I mean about that's balanced. Because you can give people insight, you can give people great words, but if they don't hear it. So I used to say communication is the best tool for a relationship. I don't say that anymore. Understanding,
Mm.
perception is the best tool for a relationship because I can communicate with you all day long. If you're not understanding what I'm sharing with you, it doesn't mean much.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the understanding, and because of that, it opened up a new world to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm thinking back to when I was a teacher of I'm sure many of us have been in the classroom setting and people are like, will this be on the test? If you're going into a coaching or a guidance relationship and you're kind of like, will this be on the test? You're missing the point, for one, but also it's that willingness to be a lifelong learner, open to experiencing it. You'll find out much more than the answers for the test. You'll discover that zest and love of being alive that comes from being open to what is going to come out of that experience. So I love all of the things that you shared. Any final thoughts before I tell people or you tell people where they can reach you?
Just love yourself today. Just find one thing you like about yourself and run wild with it. I mean, milk it for all it's worth for as long as you choose, but that opens the door to really the compassionate lifestyle that you really should lead. Well, I shouldn't say you should lead, but will bring you more of what you want and less of what you don't want. Compassion, compassion, compassion.
Mm,
It's a
so
new
good.
language. I'm learning a new language.
Mm.
And try not to say should as much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so wonderful. Well, tell us where's the best place that you want people to follow along with you or connect with you?
So you can follow me on Facebook at I am no at Future Focus Coaching and Wellness, and Instagram Future Focus Coaching and Wellness, And my website is iamfuturefocus.com. And just say hi, hello on any of the socials. That's awesome. And this is one thing I've been saying a lot in my sound therapy sessions is I really believe in my heart of hearts that 2020 was a year that gave us an opportunity to look at ourselves and really figure out, is this working? Is this what we want to, is this who we really want to be? And this 2021 was a year of, okay, so who? Who do you want to be? And this year we've been looking at the values. What values do we hold?
Mm-hmm.
Making substantive changes and really trying to build and construct a new person and way of being. What are those values that come with that? And so next year, I believe that with all that work over the last several years, we need to go into next year in the knowing of the knowing of the knowing of who we are as a person. And so I've been working personally really hard and saying, I'm crystallizing, this is who Shenita is. I'm riding and dying with her at this, with this. And I believe at this moment, I am my best self, right?
Mm.
And so I love the sound therapy stuff because it really gives you the opportunity to figure out, okay, this feels good. How can I sustain it? And then that's where the coaching comes in because it's a system,
Mm-hmm.
tools and practices in place to help you sustain that beautiful feeling that you get, with the sound therapy. So whenever you reach out, just know I'm automatically your friend because I automatically see the beauty in you. And I love, love, love reflecting that back to you.
Mm. From the minute I met you, I felt like you were my friend and loved being around you. And that translates online and offline. I am so delighted that you shared all of this with us. Definitely follow Shenita at whichever place you hang out the most. I like to your preview of here's how we can take the last 3 years and how we've shifted and changed and go into 2023 with this knowing and the action and the integrated values and way of being and all of that. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us today.
Absolutely, Rachel.
Hey, I am here to tell you about my free manifesting short course that you can download below. It's 5 days of doodling and manifesting, getting you to look at manifesting in a fresh new way and getting that creative muscle working so you can start making new connections and seeing new things that you have never seen before. Go ahead and download that free course below.